Hey there, welcome to ZX Crochet. So today's tutorial is going to be about this wonderful crochet halter top that you can also wear as a corset. I made it from a bucket weave stitch, so the only unique thing about this top is how to increase the bucket weave stitch. That I thought that would be confusing to quite a number of people, so I made a free tutorial about it. I hope you like it. And this is what I came up with: a top, or sorry, it's a halter top or a corset top, so you wear it according to what you want. If you want it as a top, you tie the strap in this format, and if you want it as a corset, you tie the straps from the bottom of this top. I'm going to be showing you a pic about that. And if you're new here, please do not forget to subscribe for very free crochet tutorials. So you can see the other part is how to wear it as a corset, and this part is how to wear it as a halter top. So this is the back of the top. It's so good for me. I hope you like it too. So this is just a flash lay video to show you more about the details to this top front, and then this is the back part. So I'm gonna be using this seagull yarn. It's so small, so I'm gonna be using 2 strands, so I'll double my strand like that. And then, sorry, I'm not gonna be using it in color green, I'm gonna be using it in color yellow. Yeah, and then this is a 3.0mm hook, but you can use any yarn and its recommended size. So first I'm gonna be making this, you can call it your top or lower part, so it comes on increasing, then it goes straight. So to begin, you're going to grab your yarn. It doesn't have to be 2 strands really, so mind about that. Grab your hook, insert, and pull up a loop through that loop. So this is how I make my slip knot, and then after I'm going to make a chain. So since you're making a chain of 8, sorry, we are chaining in multiples of 8 plus 4, I'm going to be making a chain of 24 plus 4, making it 28. And that gives me 7 inches, but it can stretch up to 8. Remember my bust of 34, 35. So yeah, if you are that size, make something like this, and if you're more bigger, increase on the inches accordingly. So after that, I'm going to yarn over, and then I'm going to skip the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Go into the 4th stitch with a double crochet. So I'm going to be double crocheting into each and every stitch up to the end of the chain. So this is row 1, and row 1 is done. Now for row 2 is where we're going to begin increasing from. So this is, you can see how I've been increasing my work. So I'm going to show you how to increase on row 2. So this is row 1 is done. For row 2, you're going to make a chain of 3. 1, 2, and 3. Then turn your work. So after turning your work, you're going to go into this very first stitch here with 4 double crochets. This is 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, the 3rd double crochet, and this is the 4th double crochet. After inserting the 4th double crochet, you can see that there is another stitch here, but on below that stitch there is this bar. So we are going to be performing our front post double crochet. Front post double crochet is done like this. You yarn over. After yarning over, you're going to come here, insert your hook, and you can see at the back there is nothing, and the double crochet post is on the front of the it's on the front of the hook. Sorry about that. So pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So we are going to repeat this 4 times. This is the first time. Now let's go the second time onto the front post, double crochet onto the next post, yarn over. This is the third, yarn over, and this is the fourth. So after you're done with the fourth, you're going to yarn over. Now we are going to do back post double crochet into the next 4 stitches. So you come after yarning over. Remember, we've been pulling the bar to be in front of the hook. Now the bar has to be behind the hook. You can see the hook is got nothing in front, but the bar is at the front. So that's a back post double crochet. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over. I'm going to do this into 4. Remember, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 front post double crochets, so we are supposed to be having 1, 2, 3 and 4 back post double crochets, and after that we shall keep interchanging between those. Yarn over. This is the third back post double crochet, and this is the fourth back post double crochet. So after that I'm going to continue repeating the same thing. After those 4, come here, do the same thing. Sorry, this is front post double crochets into the next 4. Those are 2 now, 3 and 4. Now back post, and I hope this is not confusing you, because yeah, I understand. But if you get any confusions, just drop it in the comment section down below and I'll be getting back to you. So now we continue. Those are 2 back posts double crochet, 3 back post double crochets, and this is the 4th back post double crochet. Now go into the front again, front post. You can see we are interchanging between a front post and back post double crochets. 3 and 4. Now here we are going to be placing our back post double crochets. 1, 2, 3 and 4. So now we have something that looks like this. Under normal circumstances of no increase, no decrease, you would be going into this next stitch with a normal double crochet. But since we are increasing, we are going to go into this stitch with 5 double crochets. Remember, here we inserted 4 double crochets at the beginning, but at the end here we are going to be inserting 5 double crochets. So this is 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3, 4 and 5. So row 2 is done. Now we are going to go on to row 3. For row 3, you're going to make a chain of 1, 2 and 3, same thing as row 2. After that, you're going to turn your work, but now things are going to change a little bit. Now you need to master row 3, because this is what you're going to be repeating throughout the whole process. So now remember, we have these front post double crochets. You can see them. These are 4 front post double crochets, 4 back post and 4 front post. Remember, we are just on row 2 and we want our work to be comprising of a box of 3 rows. So since we are going on the 3rd row, that means these have to remain on top. So you're going to be placing front post here. So if you're going to be placing front post double crochets here, these are supposed to be back post double crochets. That's one back post, yarn over, and this is the second back post double crochet. This is the 3rd back post double crochet, and this is the 4th back post double crochet. So after that, yarn over, come here, this is front post double crochet. Remember our box, we want our box to be comprising of 3 rows. Yeah, so continue to place front post again, front post again. So here we are going to be placing back post, of course, because this is row 3. So place your back post. They have to be 4 stitches. Yeah, so here we are, these are 4. After these 4, these are going to be the front ones. I'm going to keep interchanging between front post and back post. Where there is front post, I place a front post double crochet, and where there is a back post double crochet, that's why I'll be placing a back post double crochet, and I'll meet you towards the end. So you can see I've done placing my 4 back post double crochets. Now you should be having these remaining 4 stitches to work into. So since these are back post, that means the next ones have to be front post. So yarn over and perform a front post on top of those stitches. Front post double crochet, another front post double crochet. Those are 3. Remember, we are working with 4. So go into this, and yep, you are done. So this is what we have. You should be having something like this. So row 3 is done, and now my box is already complete. If I continue, it won't look like a box like I want it to be. Remember, this is a basket with stitch. So what I'm going to do, so after placing our 4th front post double crochet, remember there is this chain 3 that we did before turning to the next row. So we are going to be working into that stitch. You can count 1 and 2 stitch, then go into the 3rd stitch, which is normally at the top. So I'm going to be inserting 5 double crochets into this spot, just like we did. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So after that, chain 1, 2, and 3 and turn. So for row 4, remember this box is already complete, and as I told you, we are going to be repeating row 3 now. Yeah, we are actually repeating row 3. So these 4 that we have increased are going to be back post double crochets, and then the next 4 will be front post double crochets, and then the next 4 will be back post double crochets. So let me show you. Back post double crochets. You have to begin your row with back post double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4 back post double crochets. So after that, remember, we have to keep changing. There's no way you're going to be placing 5 front post or back post double crochets. So if these are 4, that means the next ones have to be front post. So simply remember to begin your row with back posts double crochets, and end your row by adding 4 more by adding 4 more stitches into this last stitch. Adding 5 more stitches into this last stitch. So these are 3 front posts, and now this is the 4th. If that's the 4th, so here we have to be placing our back post, of which there are also supposed to be 4 of them. 1, 2, this is the 3rd one. You can see like we have 1, 2 and 3, and now 4. So I'm going to keep interchanging, and then I'm meeting you towards the end here. So here I'm coming towards the end of row 4, but one thing you need to understand is that why do we have few rows and yet we are supposed to be having a box of 3 rows? So that's because we have to keep interchanging between 4 front post double crochets and 4 back post double crochets. So if we already have 4 back post double crochets here, there's no way we can put another back post double crochets here. I hope that makes sense. So just continue. If we have 4 front posts, that means no matter what the circumstance, you are supposed to be having 4 back post double crochet. So this is the first back post double crochet, 2, 3 and 4. Remember, after this we are supposed to, under normal circumstances, you place a double crochet here, but for our case we are increasing, so you're going to be placing 4 double crochets into this space here. You can count like this is the first stitch, this is the second stitch, and this is the 4th stitch. Sorry, this is the second, the first, the second and the 3rd. So go into that 3rd stitch with 5 double crochets. So that's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3 double crochet, 4 double crochet and 5 double crochet. So for row 5 you're going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3 and turn your work. So after turning your work, just continue to repeat row 3, which is do this back post double crochet into the next 4 stitches. You can see the pattern is actually creating itself. Just make sure that when you're ending your row, you end with 5 double crochets in 1 stitch, and then when you're starting new row, you start with back post double crochets. So I'm going to do that. You can see that if I put my 4 back post double crochets here, the next one have to be front post double crochets, then the next one back post. It's just going to continue building itself, and you're going to do this until you have half the measurement of your bust. So if your bust is, let's say, 35, just make sure that this is around 17.5, or you can make 18, because it's better if you add on an inch or 2. That's really okay. So I'm going to continue doing this until I come up with half of my bust. So I increased on row 14 and I'm working on row 15, but starting from row 15 I'm not going to be increasing, and this is half of my bust and it's measuring 17 inches, and that's enough for me, I should say, but it's okay if it's around 17.5 or 18, that's all fine. So this is my 15th row that I'm working on. I finished row 14 by increasing, but row 15 I'm not going to increase at the end of row 14, and that's what I want to show you. So this is my row 15, and you can see I'm going to finish it off. So those are my back posts. Now we are going to be placing our front post double crochets. That's 1, 2, 3 and 4 front post double crochets. So we have been increasing into the last stitch, but for row 15 I'm not going to increase. So I stopped increasing on row 14. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go into that stitch you've been going into with a simple double crochet. You can see just one simple double crochet. After that, make a chain of 3 and turn your work. So this is row 16 we are going on to. So for row 16, you see we already have our box is already full, so it's time for us to change the stitch. So for row 16, I start by placing 4 front post double crochets. Here the pattern changes a little because we are no longer increasing anywhere. So place your 4 front post double crochets and then place your 4 back post double crochets next and follow pattern. So we meet at the end of row 16. So at the end of row 16, we already have our 4 front posts. Now we are ending it off with 4 back post double crochet. So remember, this is row 16, guys. So place your last 4 back post double crochets, and then we want to be increasing. I want to show you that a little more. Remember, I stopped increasing from row 14. Row 15 I did not increase. Remember, I've been increasing at the end of each and every row. So I increased at the end of row 14. Row 15 no increase. Row 16 no increase, and I'm not going to increase anywhere until when I finish the top. Like, just do something until you feel satisfied with it, I think. So that's how we were placing our 5 double crochets as an increase, but now we are only placing 1 double crochet because we are not increasing anymore. So for row 17, make a chain of 3, turn your work. So for row 17, see, our box is made of only 2 and we have 1 ridge, so we proceed with the same stitch, that's front post double crochets. So row 15, row 16, row 17 no increase, and you're not going to increase anymore. So just follow the pattern and I'll meet you at the end of row 17. So we are coming to the end of row 17. You can see we already have our 2 ridges formed, meaning our next row we have to be alternating. So remember to count, because you need your box to be made of only 4 front post, 4 back post double crochets, and not anything more than that. So you can see that on row 17 we still have not increased. That means we stopped increasing on row 14 and no more increase until we are done. So for row 18, make a chain of 3, turn your work. After turning your work, you can now see that your box is full and you have 2 ridges. So it's time for you to alternate to a back post. Remember, we've been starting our rows with front post. Now we're starting with back post double crochets. So this is row 18. Do this and then I'll meet you at the end of row 18. So we are coming to the end of row 18. You can see nothing really changes. So if this is a front post double crochet, and remember these are going to be only 2 lines, that means the next row 19 is going to be a back post double crochet, so that you can come up with 3 rows of a box. And the 3 rows do not mean that you have to make 3 rows. Actually, they're actually 2 rows, but each and every 2 rows give us a look of 3 rows, which make a box. I hope you understand me. If there's anything you don't understand, please just drop it in the comments section down below. So for row 19, make a chain of 3, turn your work, and after turning your work, this is what I've been telling you about. We have 1 reach, that means you have to make the second reach, and that is by making back post double crochets. So when we make these back post double crochets, you can see that we are working with only 2 rows, but if we make this row of the row 19, if you make it back post, that means when you turn your work around the other side, it's gonna be 3 rows of front post double crochets. That's what I mean by 3 rows. So when we put this at the top, you can see this gives us 3 rows of front post double crochets. Wow, I didn't explain this at the beginning, but I hope it does not confuse you at all. So continue to do that until you come up with something that you're satisfied with, something that can cover you enough, and that is according to how long you want your top to be. So this is what I made. So this is what I came up with. My top is made of 33 rows, and it's measuring around 16.5, but it's actually 17 inches wide, and it is 11 inches long. You can see 11 inches long, but remember it can also stretch. 11 inches long, and it is, sorry, remember we started with 7 inches, right? Okay, now this is where it shows. We only have those inches, but that's okay, the top still fits just perfectly. So this is what you have, but if you want to wear it as a top, this is how you turn it. And now it's time for us to put they're like straps, not really, but something that's going to hold the straps. It's also another kind of process that I'm going to be showing you. So this is your work. Assuming you ended on this row. Let's assume this is your row 33, because this is my row 33. So after that, you're going to make a chain of 1, and then after making a chain of 1, turn to the sides of the top, and after turning to the sides of the top, I'm going to make 13 single crochets around this part. And as you can see, there's no clear stitches where you're going to be placing your 13 single crochets, so just make sure that you don't place too little or too many in one space. So just find the space and make sure that you spread evenly 13 single crochets. And if they're not 13, they could be 8 plus 4. Remember, that's what we are actually basing on, 8 plus 4. And you can do that, and make sure that it's covering half of the sides of the top. Remember where we stopped increasing from, that's what I consider the sides. So that part you made without increasing, make 13 stitches there, and they should be able to cover only half of that part, and leave the other half because you're going to be having 2 places to insert our straps. I hope that makes sense. So these are 13 single crochets, you can see. So after that, you're going to make a chain of 3, 1, 2 and 3. So for row 1, you're going to turn your work. You can see we have not covered the whole sides of the top, only half of it. So after that, place your first double crochet in that very first stitch, and now we are going to be placing double crochets up to the end of the 13th stitch. So for row 2, I'm going to make a chain. This is row 1. Row 2, make a chain of 1, 2 and 3, turn your work. After turning my work, I'm going to begin doing the bucket weave stitch. So to do that, yarn over, come into the next stitch, but rather insert a front post double crochet into the next stitch, and these are going to be 4 front post double crochets for row 2. After that, place 4 back post, and I'm going to be interchanging up to the end. Just repeat the same pattern up to the end of row 2. After that, you're going to place a normal double crochet into the last stitch, and this is after our 4 front post double crochets. So for row 3, chain 3, turn your work, and after turning your work, you're going to do, you see, so do back post double crochets. As I told you, you need to make sure that you have 3 rows of front post double crochets before you can go on to before you can change the interval, I should say. So if you don't have 3 yet, make sure that you do it. Just follow the pattern and make sure that you have 3 rows at each and every point, I should say. So this is the end of row 3. Place your back post, and then a normal double crochet should be the last. So this is the end of row 3, and now we begin row 4. So for row 4, chain 3, nothing changes, turn your work, after turning your work, now we have 3, so we have to change to another. We have to make sure that we begin another row by making back posts. So when we make back post double crochets, make sure that the front post this side do not continue to come to make 4 rows. I hope that makes sense. So just follow that pattern. In the middle, they have to be 4 front post double crochets, and at the end 4 back post double crochets. And this is the end of row 4. So at the end of row 4, of course, just 1 normal double crochet. So for row 5, I'm going to make a chain of 3, turn my work, and after turning my work, place front post. Since you only have 2 rows, so make sure that you put another another row of front post double crochets, so that our box is made up of 3 front post double crochets and 4 back post double crochets, of course. So this is row. For row 6, chain 3 and turn. This is row 6. Repeat the pattern. We already have a box of 3 rows, 3 front post double crochets, so we have to make sure that we start with the front post double crochet, so that when we reach our box of front post double crochets, we can be placing back post double crochets. As you can see, back post. And then we are going to be ending row 6 with front post double crochets, and then a normal double crochet into the last stitch. For row 7, you're going to make a chain of 3, turn your work, and after turning your work, you should be having something like this. See, our box is not yet fully complete, so we have to make it complete. So you start with back post double crochets, and then we shall be placing front post double crochets in the middle, and then we end with back post double crochets, and then a normal double crochet into the last stitch. So for row 8, you're going to make a chain of 2, turn your work. You can see I'm no longer going to be making the bucket weave stitch. I'm rather going to be only placing double crochets. So I hope you have something that looks like this. So chain 2, 1, 2, turn your work, and now I'm going to place double crochet into that very first stitch, and then I'll be placing double crochets into each and every stitch up to the end of row 8. For row 9, chain 2, turn your work. Again, I'm going to be placing double crochets up to the end of row 9. For row 10, chain 2, turn your work. Again, place double crochets up to the end of row 10. And at the end of row 10, you're going to place your last double crochet, and then you'll make a chain and cut your yarn. So after pulling up your yarn, I hope you have something like this. So the next thing you're going to do is look at your work clearly and decide which part you want to be your wrong side. For my case, this is going to be my wrong side. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to be stitching this so that I can make a hole where the straps are going to be passing. So I'm going to just stitch my work together. You can see this will be the wrong side, of course. So grab your darning needle, and after grabbing your darning needle, insert your yarn. After inserting your yarn, I'm going to go into on top of that, at the bottom of our first double crochet. This is the bottom of our first double crochet row, which was row 8. So just go onto row 8 at the start of row 8 and stitch your work together. ends, you can now cut the excess yarn. So this is the wrong side and this is the right side. I hope you have seen clearly what you have done to attach this part. It's not so easy, as I decided to go so into detail about it. So those are 4 inches extra, and I'm going to be repeating this onto this part here. Attach your yarn and then place your 13, then chain, then continue the process. And then after that, I'll come at the top here where I stopped increasing from. You can see, attach my yarn, place 13 single crochets and repeat the same thing I did onto the other strap. And then I'll come here, attach my yarn. After attaching my yarn, 13 single crochets again, and just repeat the same process. I hope this is not confusing because these are just going to be at the back and this side at the back, and then others here, so that the straps can go through. So this is what I came up with. You see, nothing changes, just do the same thing I've told you to do, and our straps will be passing through the holes that we made. So if you want this to be a top, you can attach your straps from the top part here, and do not forget to make your ends disappear. So now the next thing is you're going to be showing how to turn this into a top. But if you want it as a corset, this is what you'll do. You'll go, attach the straps from the back. So let me show you. I have these straps already. It's just make a slip knot and then make a very long chain. My chain, this is measuring 70 inches long. It's 70 inches long because I knew I was going to like divide it into half, I should say, but it's 70 inches long. And after having 70 inches long, you fold it into half, sorry, not divide it into half. So if you have this and you want this top to be a corset top, this is what you're going to do. You're going to measure and find where you're going to be placing the straps in the middle. So for my case, I only did count from 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 boxes, and I placed my straps into the last stitch of the 5th box from the left side. I went on to do the same thing onto the right side of the corset top. Okay, now we're showing this is a corset top. Count 5 stitches and count 5 boxes and go into the last stitch of the 5th box. See, this is your strap. Pull it through. There is that hole in the middle. Grab the other one and make it back through the middle, and then tighten it off. So this is when you want this to be a corset top. So I hope you have something that looks like this, and then after you're going to make it pass through the holes that you already made. This should be a little simpler if you tie your straps together than if you're doing it one by one like I did in this video. We do this in a zigzag format. One passes through the top right and then passes through the bottom left. The same thing is going to happen to the other one. It's going to pass through the top left and pass through the bottom right. Once you are done, you can simply tie, and now we can say that your corset top is done. And if you want it as a top, this is what you do. Take off the straps. It's really simple to take them off. That's why I did not stitch them to the top in the first place. So just take off the straps and turn your work. So make sure that the smaller part is on top and the bigger part is at the bottom. So again, the same thing, grab your straps and go into this, the top right corner of the top, and attach your strap, and then go to the top left corner of the top and attach your strap. Make sure that you divide it into half. It's so important. So just make it come through. After that, come to the top right and then grab the strap from the left and pass it through. Go to the lower left and pass it through again. So grab your right strap, pass it through the top left, and then pass it through the bottom right. This is if you want this to be as a top and not as a corset. So this is a halter top, I should say. After that, you can just make sure that they're in line, and then you can tie your top together.